For tens of thousands of years, humans have had the natural instinct to express themselves through art. From cave paintings and the first musical instruments around 50,000 to 60,000 years ago, all the way to the current digital age, many different mediums of self-expression have popped up. One of the most recent art forms that have come to fruition in recent decades, and in my opinion the most dynamic medium of expression so far, are video games.
Wahoo!
I in no way mean to say that one medium is inherently better than another, because comparing two forms of human expression just doesn't make sense as they serve different purposes. What I am trying to say is that with video games, more complex ideas and concepts may be able to be communicated on a deeper level because of audience interaction and the ability to combine multiple different mediums into one. To begin, I would like to go over the interactive aspect of video games that make them more dynamic than other forms of media. I'd like you to think of either a play or a concert or any other type of live performance that you've ever been to. I'll give you a second. Alright, do you have it? Most likely, whatever live performance that you thought of, you hold more of a connection to than countless other pieces of art and media that you've consumed throughout your life. This isn't to say that you necessarily value it more than any other specific piece of media/art, but that it holds a deeper sentiment to you than most others. Now, I'd like you to think about a video game that you really enjoy. Okay, have you thought of it? You probably hold sentiment to aspects of that game in a similar fashion to how you do with the live performance you thought of. The key to connecting these feelings to each other is simple: experience. As humans, we tend to associate media that we consume to certain memories and feelings that we have at the time that we're consuming said media. These feelings can be brought on by either the piece of media itself or something else entirely that's happening around the same time that you're taking in that piece of media. But usually it's a mix of both. With live performances, the experience of being in the presence of thousands of others to appreciate something that you enjoy is likely the feeling that most people associate with them. The person or people that are performing are usually encouraging the audience to interact with the show, which is a big part of the appeal of concerts and the like. This experience that's created through interaction is also seen in video games as well. When a person thinks about their favorite video game, they likely think about a countless number of memories that they have from that game because of their ability to interact with it and, to an extent, emulate the feeling of experiencing the events happening in that game firsthand. With the rise of the internet and a good portion of video games including an online multiplayer feature, some sense of community is often associated with video games as well. The experience of playing through a video game with your friends gives you a very unique feeling, and some of my most cherished memories come from just chilling out and playing Minecraft with other people back during lockdown. The ability to interact with a piece of media adds a whole new dimension to it and allows for the audience to connect with it on a deeper level. This interactive aspect makes it much easier for video games to express certain concepts and ideas to the audience than it would otherwise. Up to this point, there has been no other form of expression that has the same level of interaction that video games have. And it makes me very excited for what the medium might be used for in the future. My next point is based around the fact that video games combine multiple different art forms into one. Storytelling, music, acting/voice acting, computer programming, and visual arts are a major part of most modern-day video games. I would like to point out that a lot of video games don't necessarily have the storytelling or acting elements included in them, but a large quantity of modern games still do, so I still included them in this list. When making a video game, artists from all these different mediums work together in order to create the finished piece, which brings on a variety of different perspectives that give more depth into what they're working on. One could say that film and television are similar to video games in this sense as well, which would be correct, but combined with the interactive aspect that I mentioned before, the amalgamation of different mediums that's present in video games can convey many new concepts and ideas that aren't as easy to convey in mediums such as film and television. I'm gonna be honest, this is probably a cliche example for a video like this, but I would like to take a quick look at Undertale to help express what I'm trying to say just a little bit better. If you don't already know, Undertale is a two-dimensional RPG released in 2015 by Toby Fox and a small team of developers. In the game, you play as a small child that falls down a hole into an underground world of monsters. and must navigate your way out by either befriending or attacking the monsters you meet along your journey. The choices that the player makes throughout the game directly affects the ending of the game that the player gets. By giving the arguably most desirable ending to the players who choose to befriend all of the monsters instead of attacking them, the game uses this mechanic to convey a message of peace over violence, and that the choices that you make as an individual greatly affect the world around you. Undertale is well known for its phenomenal soundtrack and storytelling, and is a prime example of how the combination of different art forms and audience interaction can lead to a very powerful piece of media. Without the medium of video games, a story similar to Undertale's would likely not be as powerful as it is. Before I end the video, I want to briefly touch on the current state of the video game industry. With the corporatization of, well, everything I guess, many AAA games that are being released as of recent, with some exceptions, seem to have been severely rushed with countless bugs / underwhelming graphics that make the game feel unfinished overall. This, paired with long crunch times and salaries that are far too low for the work being done, similar to the current state of the film industry, a very toxic environment is being created for these developers. Also, so I didn't really mention this in the script, so this right here is unscripted, but the video game industry is also a very toxic environment for women. I remember a little while ago, I think it was Activision Blizzard, but they had like a scandal with some very unsavory stuff happening towards women who worked there. So that's a big thing that needs to change. Alright, okay, back to the scripted parts. This causes the overall quality of games that are being put out by these large companies, who, mind you, are extremely wealthy and have no valid excuse for any of this, to be very underwhelming for the resources that they have at their disposal. A lot of these games start to feel soulless at a certain point, which is really sad for me to see. This obviously isn't the case for all recent AAA games, it's just there are more that follow this pattern than there should be. Because of this, I encourage you to not impulsively purchase games based on brand recognition, and take quality into consideration first to show mega corporations such as Nintendo and the like that they can't keep getting away with things like this. I also encourage you to go out and support more indie games, as even though they might not have as high of a budget as some larger titles, they very well could have a much greater impact on you. I hope to become a game developer in the future and possibly start my own independent game development company, as I'm about to go to college for computer science and game development. This small call to action that I added in at the end here is just for me to put out my ideas for change into the world in hopes that those changes may happen before I go into the industry. I highly doubt that a YouTuber with 41 subscribers, as of me writing this, saying mean things about companies that are worth billions of dollars will do anything, but you do what you can, I guess. Anyways, thanks for watching through the entire video. It really means a lot to me. I really appreciate the support I got on my Nimona video. If you haven't already, you should definitely go watch it. I put a lot of work into the videos that I'm posting on here, so it's really cool to see that there are people that actually enjoy what I make. That being said, if you enjoyed this video, leaving a like or a comment is the best way for me to know that what I'm doing is working, and subscribing is the best way to keep up with what I'm posting. As always, if there's anything that I can do to make these videos better, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm Lobster Nose, go support some indie games, and I'll see you in the next video. Go drink some water.